Okay, this video I'm actually going to do an overview of kind of what I've done so far in getting my home to be a independent energy home, one that I don't have to pay for the energy I use. The first step, or the first project I did on this, was to put these solar panels up and hook up my water system to run off of solar power. This is not grid tie or anything like this. This is totally independent of the grid. There you can see my solar panels. Actually I'm only using that big one right now. It seems to generate all I need for my water. The little one, I actually do have a grid tie on it. Anyway, let me show you what the water, I have another video that shows you more detail, but basically I have these water drums that I fill up with spring water, filter it through that little filter down there, get the sand out, anything like that. I pressurize it with this pump right there, and that feeds my water to my house. I also have this this gray tank is a water tank, a pressurized tank that it fills up, that pump fills up, so it doesn't have to run all the time when I'm using water. It just fills that up as a reserve. Now I also have reverse osmosis system set up. It actually uses this booster pump right here, because I like to run that RO filter at about 100 psi. That cleans the water up a little bit better. The higher that pressure is, the cleaner that reverse osmosis gets the water. That's my clean RO tank, and that feeds into my house for my drinking water. So anyway, these are the batteries. Just 2 deep cycle batteries from Walmart, nothing fancy. Charges them with that charge controller. Nothing too fancy here. I was using this charge controller, but I think I hooked the wires up backwards once and that fried it. Anyway, so I'm using that one now. That's my little grid tie for for my smaller panels I got up there. I was going to use them all for the water, but I didn't need them all. As you can see up there right now, it's fully charged. Usually get a nice sunny day, it'll charge that right up. If it's cloudy or whatnot, it'll drain the battery a little bit. I've found that this will work. At least it's worked for me, running about a week on really low sun. Those 2 deep cycle batteries seem to contain enough energy to keep these pumps going and keep me in supply of water. Now if they do go down, I have a backup pump over here that I can plug into the wall, and I can use that. I don't really want to. I want to keep things off the grid, and especially if the grid goes down, I'll always have water. Anyway, that's the first step in my process of getting the independent energy in my house. The next step are these solar panels. Let me walk over here a little bit. These I put up on my garage. Those are each 225 watts. I have them hooked up to a 1.8 kilowatt grid tie inverter, which is, if you count all that up, you'll see it's more than 1.8 kilowatts. Basically it maxes out at 1.8 kilowatts. That happens during the day when the sun's out. Probably right now the sun's out pretty good. Wintertime they actually generate more power because those are more efficient when they're cold. I'll run in real quick and we'll look at that inverter. Okay, now we're inside the garage here. This is my inverter I'm using. Those wires just come from the solar panels. They're all hooked in a series, come into here. I have this in here just so we can see. That's on amps, so we're pumping out into the grid 12 something amps into the grid at our voltage here is actually a little higher than I suspected, but it's about 125 volts here. So we're pumping it in at 12 amps at 125 volts. So not too bad. The sun's not directly on those. When it gets directly on those, it'll max out at 15 amps. That's what this inverter can put out. And with the extra solar panels, You know, if you count it up there, I'm more than 1.8 kilowatts up there. Basically what that does is it helps increase this number up until we hit the maximum amps, and then this just kind of wastes the solar panels up there. But either way, you're going to either waste your inverter or your solar panels. This seems to be a good compromise where we get quite a bit of power consistently throughout the day. This other box just goes into my breaker box and feeds into the grid. Now I've found with this setup, I save about $60 to $100 a month with this, just in electrical costs, depending on how sunny it is and how much it puts out. And also, it's actually been going up since I first installed it. Electricity prices have been going up, and so I've been saving more and more as the years go on. When I originally installed this, I figured my cost and everything it'd take me about 5 to 6 years to pay off. I've been going a couple of years now, so three or so more years, and this will be paid off, and the energy it generates will be free to me. Anyway, with this, it didn't take my net energy cost down to zero yet. Hooking up the water solar pump and this definitely reduced them a lot, but not totally. I also, when I did this, actually before I did this, I switched my house over to time of day system, to where when this is generating, it's most of the time it's generated on peak power, so I'm getting a better price for what this generates. Anyway, my cost after doing this, I've still been running during the summertime. I'm getting pretty close to netting out at not anything, but during the winter time I was still paying quite a bit, about $200 to $300 a month in electricity, because I heat my house with electricity. So one moment and I'll move on to my next step in this. Alright, so my next step in this was actually creating this wood boiler. This is to reduce my heating costs. I'll be able to heat my house using wood for the heat. Not only will it heat my house, you know, to keep the house warm, but it also heats the hot water. I have some coils running in there. I've been running this this winter, all winter so far. My electricity bill actually decreased during the summer, just because I was able to shut my hot water heater off and heat my house with this. Let's just take a look inside here. This is actually a pretty efficient system. Let's drop some coals out of there. I haven't filled this up since yesterday. I'm gonna have to throw some more in there, but those coals, if you can see, they're still hot. They'll fire right back up as soon as I get this, as soon as it turns back on. It's basically set on the thermostat to keep the hot water in this at a certain temperature. When it drops down so low, it turns the fan on and kicks that on. It's a nice, efficient system. Secondary burn, not too much smoke, and a really clean burn. Anyway, with that, dropped my winter cost down from $200 to $300 down to I'm about $30 to $40, maybe $50 a month, depending on how much electricity we use and whatnot. I still want to hook up another set of solar panels like I had before, get a little bit more, and I'll be able to get to zero or get paid each month at that point. But this has done a lot in reducing that electricity. There's no way I'd be able to set up enough solar panels to heat my house off of electricity and hot water and everything. There's a ton of power in this. There's my wood shed. Got the wood stored up for winter. Hopefully I got enough there. We'll see if that lasts me all winter. Now, a lot of people, you know, say burning wood creates a lot of pollution. I kind of see it as a net zero system. Doesn't really, well, when you grow the trees, it cleans the air. You chop down the trees and burn it, you put it back in the air. So I don't see it as really that bad. I actually plan on growing my trees around my house. I got a few planted over here. They're just little trees. You won't be able to see them, it's winter time. But anyway, I'm going to plant a whole row of trees all along here. basically all around my property. I've got 2 acres here. I'll have enough to grow enough trees right here to heat my house and not have to go anywhere else to get the wood. That's in the future. It's going to take a while for those trees to grow and get big enough, but that will get me pretty close. Once I add those solar panels, I'll be set. I should be at net zero or getting paid. Now this, I'll only be using this during the winter time. I'm not going to be burning wood during the summer just to heat my hot water. So my next project will be to build some hot water solar panels to put on top of my house. At that point, during the summertime, I'll just switch my pumps to go from this wood boiler to those solar hot water panels. Anyway, that's what I've got going so far. I think it's working really good. I can see myself shortly being independent of energy from the grid. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention is that those next solar panels I'm going to put up, they're going to be grid tied but with battery backup. For that, even if the grid goes down, I'll have enough power to run essential things such as my boiler, fan, blowers, control system, fridges, freezers, everything that I really need to have running. In that situation, we will be dependent of the grid. If it goes down, we can still continue to function just fine. When the grid is up, we'll be using it as that because it's way more efficient than the batteries, and we should be getting paid each month when the grid is up. Anyway, that's my my plan and what I've got going on. Thanks for watching.